Tonight, 4 teams, 1 common goal. Who will be next? It's semifinal action in the NIT from Madison Square Garden. Representing the Big East, the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers. And out of the Big 12, the Cyclones of Iowa State University. Let's take a look at the brackets, and this is the way the Final Four looks. After this game, the first one we are about to see, 20 minutes later we'll tip it off between Oregon of the Pac-10 and Michigan of the Big 10. Hi, everybody. Rod Franklin, along with young Jimmy Dykes, the governor, Bill Raftery. And tonight, the constituency yields to the governor. He will talk about Rutgers first. You have the floor, my
Age
friend.
before beauty, I'm sure. Well, Jimmy Dykes and I would both love to be able to shoot the ball as well or as often or within the scheme of the offense as the 2 outside performers, Ricky Shields and Quincy Douby, 2 for Rutgers. Jimmy, they've gotten better because they're using their screens. Douby's got great range. They get the ball and are prepared to shoot. Whether they're stepping into the shot or coming off the curl, they've got great range, anticipation, and their shot selection has become better. And I think that's the key to this team, improving and playing well in the NIT.
Okay, Jimmy, it's your turn. Talk about Iowa State and the fact they've got a couple of huge wins at Hilton Coliseum at home, but on the road, they have not prospered as their coaching staff would have liked.
You know what, though? Both teams start 3 guards. I think Rutgers gets 21 points a game from the 3 ball. Iowa State only gets 12. So Iowa State has a little bit more attack the rim mentality from their perimeter, especially a young man by the name of Curtis Stinson, one of the best freshmen probably that most people have never seen play this year. Terrific guy from the perimeter, a hard guard, a dominant crossover dribble, can really get to the lane and attack you. Playing with a banged up left hand tonight, but I talked to him before the ball game. He said, it won't stop me from scoring.
So let's take a timeout. 67 years of history of the NIT already in the books. Will 68 be a good follow-up?
ESPN2's presentation of the postseason NIT, brought to you by Mazda. There's a soul of a sports car in everything we make.
We are moments from game time here at the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden. Right now, let's go to Jimmy Dykes with Rutgers head coach Gary Waters.
Coach, you all have gone from a 37% three-point shooting club on the year to a 50% three-point shooting club in this tournament. What's been the difference?
Well, I think they got some more confidence, and they understand what they can do now. It took them a while to understand that, and in the Big East, you know, a lot of people come after you, so you got to be prepared.
What's the one thing you stress to your ball club in that locker room about Iowa State?
Well, they get out in transition, and so we must shut that down. If we don't, we're going to have a long night tonight.
All right, Coach, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jimmy. Good luck to Coach Gary Waters. And here are the starting lineups for this game number 1, the semifinal game number 1. For Rutgers, Lamizana, the man they call Axe, Quincy Douby, Marquis, Webb, and Ricky Shields. And the starters for the Cyclones of Iowa State, Vroman and Jake Sullivan, along with Jared Homan, Curtis Stinson, and number 11, Will Blalock at the guard positions. And our Star Watch, gentlemen.
Lamizana, not too bad putting it on the floor, Jimmy. I've really been impressed with his shot selection, his ability to play multi-positions, and also his shot blocking ability. Starts a lot of their runouts.
I'll tell you what I like about Jackson Vroman from Iowa State. He's a punishing rebounder, Raf. He goes to get the rebound out of his area. He's got great speed for a kid 6'10", and he's young as a basketball player. Only his 5th year to play. I think he's got a terrific upside.
So Lamizana will jump it up against Vroman. And in case you are not familiar with these two programs, Rutgers in the all-scarlet uniforms and Iowa State in the white with the gold and red piping. And as you can imagine, it's only about 45 miles away, with a large contingent on hand here to cheer for the Scarlet Knights. Semifinal game number 1 is underway.
And Iowa State. Rod Franklin and company goes. 2-3 zone.
But what kind of principles?
Minimum principles.
I wondered how you were going to get.
I'm glad you're here to remind me, Jimmy. You'll see a lot of zone. Of course, Wayne had been at Syracuse and has tweaked it a little bit. We'll get into it a little bit later, Jim.
Vroman tipped the pass and caused the turnover.
Rutgers aggressive in the half court. Man-to-man. Terrific on-ball defensive club with their length.
Quickly inside to Vroman. He'll get the easy two. And the first thing that I noticed, gentlemen, pushing Stinson to his left to make him dribble with the cast hand.
They all know how difficult it can be.
Deep in the corner. Three-pointer ripped away. And there's Quincy Douby.
They shoot from downtown, and there's no Freddie Brown here. They've got great range and stretch the D.
Boy, Gary's right about his club being confident, huh? A quick-triggered club.
Vroman not there. Homan gets bumped out of the way, and the rebound comes down to Lamizana.
Jimmy, I think the big thing is that foul line area, and you might see right here, Lamizana's got this kind of a range, plus he'll be the guy in the 3-second area making plays.
Oh. Vroman with his 4th point.
Terrific push, huh? By Blalock. Wow.
Great confidence, too. Lamizana, Lumi.
Well, Iowa State was a man-to-man defensive club until this year, so they've grown into their zone defense as this year's gone on.
Wow. If he shoots it any further out, he's got to pay tolls on the way.
Well, I think they're downtown, but maybe out of bounds, too.
Inside to Homan. Jared puts it on the floor, the right-handed hook, and he's got it going, as does Iowa State with their shooting percentage in the early going.
And they're extending the floor here. They call themselves the Bruise Brothers, and we will see that reflected in their physical play.
Well, against any zone, though, you've got to get ball reversal, try to hit that high post area, establish inside, exactly what they go to.
That's the area, absolutely, because they played a three-point shooter. That's something Boeheim's gotten better at, I think, over the years. They want to take away the three, force you to take twos.
You know, it's interesting. I think not only does the zone defense get better during the game, the zone offense gets better during the game as well.
One begets the other if you got people who can ring the bell.
The head coach for the Cyclones of Iowa State, first season at Iowa State, was an assistant coach there, also was an assistant at Syracuse. Very familiar with this part of the country because he grew up here, Bill.
Yeah, but he and Stinson back home, they've got a lot of requests for tickets from friends and family.
Top-notch recruiter, wasn't he?
He sure was.
Jim staff.
I think it'll show at Iowa State, too. Wise decision, nice trap, something different that they do.
Axani. His second hoop, and that's a tough play. He and Homan, the two guys that face off against each other, very much alike.
And nice play by Douby. You know what they do, and we both can relate. Jimmy Dykes is out of this. They play old. I mean, they really do. They look like guys who, they'll be 50 doing the same things. They're not going to elevate. And a lot of pizzazz in their game. Just solid.
Sullivan will be tagged and chased for 40 minutes.
Stinson trying to force it maybe a little bit, loses it out of bounds, and it'll go right back to Rutgers. And this may be a little bit of a problem. He's got 24, 25 relatives and friends in the house, and he wants to show what he can do now that he's in college.
And I think Jimmy's point with the hand, too. He looked like it was difficult once he put the left on there, but you're trying to impress people. You just got to relax.
Lamizana puts it on the floor, moves it about 5 feet closer, and cans it.
No, he's an NBA prospect because he can hit that shot. These guys got a terrific skill set for a 6'10" youngster.
Absolutely right. He can put on a nice step through on the left. Huh?
Wow.
A little lingerie on the deck.
Jackson Vroman.
Jackson, a great story, as Jimmy said, only in his 5th year of organized basketball. He was a soccer player. Good bloodlines. His dad started off at UCLA. Whoa! Outside again is Douby.
He was back court. That was a violation.
Hey, early in this game, I do believe.
Douby, do.
Well, Iowa State may have gone to the well once too often there on the little give and go. Nice job defensively for the Scarlet Knights. Shields will take it the distance.
Too easy.
Jimmy, you know what made that basket? On the other side, by the Iowa State bench, was Douby. Nobody could come off him and help on the drive.
Boy, 3 guards in transition for both clubs can really get up and down this floor.
11-2 is the run total right now. Vroman, he's going to take it up strong, and he'll score.
Tell you, he really knows how to play post offense. He puts it on the floor. And Jimmy, you've seen him enough, and Ron, he's a fadeaway jumper like Will Chamberlain used to. Maybe we'll get a look at it.
Same 2-3 alignment, Rap, but they'll trap out of it. They'll run and jump some out of it, but it doesn't matter when you're just jumping up and knocking down shots over the top.
Marquis.
They'll make you play man, I think, Ron. I don't know if you can.
And that's going to be interesting to see if Wayne and them will come out of it, because the matchup 2-3, also diamond and 2.
And Jimmy's point about them knowing how to play man-to-man, I've seen them play man-to-man full, so they know the principles.
Homan with the turnaround, and he's fouled by Lamizana. And here is something that, when you look at negatives for each team, that they have to be careful of. Lamizana, foul trouble cannot happen. And they also need to get points out of Adrian Hill.
Now, there's a guy that's improved, Ron. Excuse me.
And conversely, for Iowa State, Homan, who's at the line, and Vroman cannot get into foul trouble. They got to have input from the perimeter by Jake Sullivan.
Gary was telling both of us he was given the MVP award, most improved.
Yeah, it's
Adrian Hill, that is.
You like kids looking at Jared Homan on that free throw stripe when their coach describes them and says his greatest skill, he plays hard. That's the only reason why this young man's on the floor at that free throw stripe right now. He will out-effort you if you give him the chance.
Do you imagine saying that, though? Everybody's supposed to play.
Yeah,
hard.
again, isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
Isn't that the truth?
Homan unlucky on the shot, rolled it around, it came out. So it's a 16-11 start in our ball game as we're about to go under 14 minutes left in this opening half.
I think it's amazing where you have to play these people, and you're going to get open foul line jumpers consistently because of the threat deep.
Sullivan back out front to Vroman. The bounce pass, nice look to Homan. Tough pass for a tall guy, though. Sullivan for 3. And Vroman comes away with the loose ball.
Well, he's quicker than you think. Whew.
Homan squared to the hoop, and he'll knock that down often when you allow him to square the shoulders from that distance.
Speaking of playing hard, how about that, Jim? Vroman really getting after it, made that goal for his partner.
They play well off of each other. Terrific little buddy game they got working on the interior. 13
points between the two of them already. In fact, all 13 points. Nothing from the perimeter.
They got steps, trying to make a quick decision.
So let's take a timeout. 16-13, Rutgers on top. Here are 2 of the Iowa State points and 2 of Vroman's 8. So 16-13, Rutgers on top.
Well, Ron, they're getting it done by the play of their perimeter. Ricky Shields, number 2. That's not his strength. This guy is a pure 2 guard that can jump up and stroke it. But right now, he and Shields, Douby, just terrific confidence in their stroke. This is a club that's shooting 50% from the three-point line in the NIT games. Both those guys are averaging 20 so far in this tournament.
I'll start to say Shields in the NIT, 13 of 20 from beyond the arc.
And Ron, I was thinking Shields only averages 3+ free throws a game. You had mentioned their stretch. We're going to stretch Ron's patience by the time the night's over with the 2 of us chatting away. But they're stretching the D. They should be able to get a lot of easy hoops, I think, either the foul line or underneath.
Vroman and Homan, as I mentioned, all 13 points for Iowa State, and they are 6 of 7 from the 4. Rutgers from beyond the arc, 50%, 2 of 4. And I mean the 2 have been from way outside.
Automatic switch on the perimeter here.
I like Rutgers' length defensively.
Douby's got some. I think you're thinking of him a lot, and Webb as well.
So Blalock knocks home the 3. They have done a good job of blanketing Jake Sullivan so far. Here's Douby again. Come on now.
How about the 1 bounce, a little screen? Oh my goodness, 22 feet, chuck and duck.
I asked somebody from Rutgers today, I said, tell me about him, and he said, no conscience.
Well, you know what? I think their shot selection is better, though. I mean, people think you're crazy when you see shots like that. Nice slip to the goal, but whoops, and a turnover. Look at the spread by Douby.
Webb.
When they get a layup, it sort of shocks you, Jim.
Yeah, it does. How about Douby running the floor to the spot up 3 on the weak side? Had a chance for a 2-on-1.
How about this one, Jim? Little screen.
Yeah, that's. I love how they get their shoulder squared to that rim. Look at that release, rotation, and that always ends up with a terrific result.
First foul on Jake Sullivan. And the first team foul. Rutgers also with 1 team foul.
Bill, being a former New Jersey coach yourself, how important was it to sign Marquis Webb, the first New Jersey recruit signed by Waters?
Well, I think it starts to give him a little strength and a little confidence, too. I think the same thing happened with the football program there. Start to believe in the coach. Some more talent. Obviously, you don't have to go to the Midwest, which he did when he first started, Gary, or to the junior college ranks. And I think it'll solidify a base for him, something that's necessary.
Blalock, the lob into Vroman, and it's knocked away. Rutgers well schooled on what they are trying to get done inside.
Lamizana with a great reaction there. Oh my goodness, catch. Oh, and shoot. Get out and get him, Jimmy Dykes.
Well, he led the New York City public schools in scoring at 35 points a game 2 years ago. I can see why.
Vroman over the top, I think, or maybe they're going to get a check. I know they got Vroman. And, you know, the interesting thing, his sophomore year, his sister, Alexandria, Quincy Douby's sister, had Jack Ringel as a guidance counselor, the coach of Grady. She said, you know, you ought to look at my brother. He can shoot. So he watched him in the gym. He said, you ought to come out. The next year he came out as a junior. And then as a senior, they won the city championship. I mean, it's unbelievable. There must be so much talent in the city this size.
Oh, and he hit 18 out of 21 three-pointers in a high school game.
Scored over 60 points twice. This is a 9-0 run with the Scarlet Knights. Lamizana put it on the floor, and they'll turn it over. Here's Stinson, the bounce pass in the middle, and really taking a chance right there. And the reach in is going to go against number 50, Marquis Jefferson, who would just come into the lineup. His first, the team's second.
No, I've watched Stinson. That's not him. He's not on his game right now, Jim.
No, he's not. But I tell you who is. Those Rutgers perimeter shooters. And again, early in this game, I do believe.
Minnesota and Duke for a spot in the women's Final Four against UConn. Janelle McCarville's been playing great for the Gophers, 25 and 15 in the win over BC. Splits a couple defenders, hits in the lane. It's Minnesota by 5 early, Ron.
All righty, our situation 25-16 at the 11:39 mark. And Jim, you got a special deal here for us that Rutgers has provided.
Well, I think it's terrific. They've sold those I Do Believe t-shirts, which now I'm a believer early in this ball game. Ron and Raf, they've raised over $4,000 for the Coaches versus Cancer Fund, which I think an outstanding job by Rutgers and the hot shooting of Quincy Douby.
And of course, what the shirt says is I do believe.
And Jimmy has said that all game, and he may be saying it all evening. I think you got to make them put it on the floor. Let's face it. Let's see what they start out. I think they're straight up. No, this is their matchup now.
Yep.
Total match. We can drive, draw, and this team can do it from the perimeter. But I think they've improved with the bounce, Jim.
And you can tell when they go matchup because they start pointing. I got this, you got the next one around.
He got a kick out. He had an open look for Webb deep.
Lamizana, that's 2 on him, Bill.
As you noted, that's a major issue for this team. He's very creative. We mentioned the bounce. He sees things, and a major deterrent on the defensive end.
Well, he got his 91st block of the season on the last series just before we went to timeout. For his career, he's got 234.
Iowa State, they like to run sets, and so far most of their set looks have been to that low block.
And why not? I think they've got to pound conversely. And then when you soften the belly, you can get the kick out.
Roman now in double figures. He's got 10. And Adrian Hill, number 4, in the lineup. That three-pointer way off the mark, and Axe is there to rebound it.
And I was watching the Villanova tape, and I kept saying they can't keep making these threes. This team does, though. And they don't. They're hot all game. Look, there's what they can do against a matchup. Beautiful. And Hill to the tin with alacrity.
Now, that's zone defense that lacks man-to-man principles.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know, you really don't get in a real stance, I think, when you're in a zone matchup. You're sort of between the guy and the basket, but you don't move the legs to contain.
Peterson.
As Jefferson, a guy that missed 5 games this year, personal problems, and he's a major contributor to this team. Gives him some flexibility.
He's a team captain, had 15 points and a huge win over Colorado.
That's about as far of a half-court zone stretch that I've seen all year. They are stretched.
You got to be elastic with Douby out there, and they come running. Stinson that time.
And the foul's going to be on Iowa State. And they are pointing at number 22, and that's Staple.
Late in the year, Shields has become more of an attack-the-rim guy. And again, he's going to have those kind of opportunities because you crowd him, you check his breath defensively as a shooter, he can go around you.
Well, the one thing they've said is Lamizana has said to Hill, you just get ready. If I'm in the game driving, you take it and go as strong as you can. And I just love his improvement. He's screened better. Real solid performance helping him. There's that trap we mentioned earlier. Causes the turnover.
Stinson gets it off to Blalock, and he'll win the foot race and jam it home.
It's not Mookie, but it looks good.
Young fella had 11 assists and no turnovers against Kansas this year.
How about them? I mean, how good were they at home when you think of it?
Big one over Kansas, big one over Texas.
Yeah. Just the road, they got a rash.
Shields, nope, and going to be grabbed down by George.
And George is trying to get some more minutes. They're real high on him. Big upside.
Bill, they kind of brought him along slowly, didn't they? Woo. Look at Stinson. He put it up with the hand. It's got the cast on it.
And you mentioned George. He occupied a few people, Ron, and you're right. He's learning how to play on the run. But right here, you avoid the traffic, and you can see the guts of this guy, huh? He gets slapped on that hand. They claim it's a major issue. Pain, his threshold. Take it to the tin. A little smooch, Jimmy Dykes, in Manhattan.
Well, that dominant crossover is what set the whole thing up. That might be his reference point as an offensive player. And everybody has to have one. That crossover might be where it all starts with his game.
I think he's as good as Jamal Tinsley was as a senior.
Very good,
right
good
now.
comparison, yes.
7-0 run. Gary Waters has seen enough, and he calls a timeout. 2-point ball game. A Week of Madness presented by Harley-Davidson continues tomorrow on ESPN, 8 o'clock Eastern. It's the 2004 Powerade Slam Fest. And at 9 o'clock, the best high school basketball players in the nation meet in a McDonald's High School All-American game. For more information, log on to ESPN.com.
Hey, Ron, a couple of things about that tomorrow night. First of all, word has it there may be 9-10 kids playing that high school all-star game tomorrow night that might be in the NBA next year. That's the talent that they have on the floor. And listen to this, Candace Parker, she enters the slam dunk competition as a girl, she wins the thing. Now we're gonna all watch that. Wow.
It's almost like Spud Webb jumping on the scene, right?
That's bigger than Spud Webb.
Well, that tells me one thing, Dad. If she won the slam dunk, she must have dunked more than one.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure and then we got a shot of Stinson here. And Jimmy, it's interesting. His nickname at the Rutgers League, which is a famous league here in Manhattan, Blue Collar.
What's up with that? I mean, you think a guy that gets a blue-collar name from a playground, they're going to call him, you know, Snoopy, Sleep Dog, Ray Ray.
Right.
They call him Blue Collar.
Well, what you're suggesting, he doesn't like the nick.
Shields for three.
Oh, man.
Shields said, hey, I want some of this stuff. I'm 65% from beyond the arc in the tournament.
I mean, they are amazing in their confidence right now. A different team.
How about the passing to those perimeter shooters right on target so they can catch that ball in rhythm smoothly, boom, up and in.
Well, you know what? They're cutting better, and they're setting the defender up much better. Oops.
Threw it away, turnover, and it's a second foul on Jefferson. Ron Franklin, Jimmy Dykes, along with the governor, Bill Raftery, coming to you from the first semifinal action tonight here at the Garden. Iowa State and Rutgers. Big 12 against the Big East. That's 5 team fouls against Iowa State.
You know, all great zone defensive coaches, Bill, they have to have built-in patience. Jim Boeheim has that kind of patience.
Think of John Chaney.
John Chaney.
Right.
And Wayne Morgan, where there was a chance to get out of a zone, he had it the first 12 minutes of this ball game.
Well, years ago, people said you could never win the NCAA championship in a zone, and then Heathcote, a guy by the name of Heathcote, I think played a little 2-3 with some pretty good talent, huh? Kelser, Magic.
Proved again last year, didn't he?
Oh, yeah, exactly. And they get the offensive foul, Axani. A little nickel dimer here in an expensive city.
So we'll take a timeout and make a little money to pay in this expensive city. 5 points, Rutgers on top.
Where would we be if we always did things the way they were done before? Where would we be if everyone followed and no one led?
I'm never ever gonna get it all. I'm never ever gonna get it all.
Yes! Fantasy baseball champion! Yes!
Attention, you are all losers.
In a sign of victory! Victory over all! All!
Hey, boss, you're a loser.
ESPN Fantasy Baseball. Our players take it very seriously. Create or join a league at espn.com/fantasy.
Two remarkable fighters and even more remarkable men whose rise from tough, often brutal beginnings
Living on the streets, living out of motels, hotels.
I should beat him up every day.
Hanging out with gangs.
has defied the odds.
My dad left when I was really young.
There were 13 of them that jumped him.
This month, UFC presents Bad Boy and Iceman. A closer look, an exclusive documentary on DirecTV pay-per-view channel 190.
You look at the 4 teams that have reached the NIT semifinals, and they are representation of progress. Each school is led by an African-American head coach, and we asked them if they noticed.
Well, I have noticed it, and I think it says a lot. I think it's the first time ever in the history of this tournament for that to happen, and I think that is very significant.
I think it's a great signal for college basketball and basketball as a whole. And obviously, you know, our sport gets compared to other sports, and sometimes it doesn't add up as well in other arenas.
In terms of being a male Division I college basketball coach, there are probably have been a few more opportunities in some of the other areas, whether it be management or baseball or whatever.
That's a blessing, you know, that can say that 4 guys that have excelled in their profession to get to this point. And to me, it really doesn't matter if it's black or white, because I think coaching is coaching.
Well, the NIT has always been the pace setter. It is the oldest of the tournaments, and I'm glad that it happened to them, for them, I should say.
Well, you know what's great? It's a non-issue. Can you do the job? And that's what's beautiful about it.
Exactly.
You can perform and excel, and that's the way it should have been years ago, and it is now, gratefully.
Ref, I think you and I both, when we broke these clubs down, all we looked at was how well coached they are, how well they execute.
That's right, and what the kids can do and what they've been taught to do.
Exactly.
Stinson lost the handle on that last ball down there, and every once in a while that cast, when he gets whacked a little bit, causes him to mishandle the basketball.
You know what, Ron, talking to him before the ball game, he said that's the one thing that will bother me in this ball game is if I get hit on top of that hand. Other than that, I'm okay to go.
He got hit in the conference tournament down in Dallas twice in the Oklahoma State game, and they thought that it might have displaced the fracture that he has, the broken bone.
Tough shot here, good defense.
Shot clock at 3. You know, guys, it's the first time we've had to bring up shot clock.
I know, pretty straight.
Time.
I think that was more straight up man that particular trip.
Well, listen to their timeout. I jogged over there during that last timeout, and Wayne was talking about going triangle and 2, covering guys up, making sure they matched up with the 2 shooters, and I'm not so sure that's not what they came out in that time.
By the way, Oklahoma State does hit a few people.
Whoa.
I mean, in a good, sound way.
Yeah.
I mean, so you're going to be tested when you play Oak State. You're down screen, I think Homan gets tagged.
So that's his first, the team's 6th.
Did you say jog, by the way?
Well, I tried to sprint. But
if
you're taking a red eye, you can't sprint. You have to jog.
You were a little out of breath.
Ref's eyes were red. He didn't fly it late.
You know what? It's a boxing one, Raf. What it is. They're chasing.
Well, they switched it then. This is a different look. You're right. I think you were right on the first one because they had the guards matched.
Webb.
Catch it. And he's got pretty good hands, Hill. Had a little trouble with that, baby. Spin those hands. Rub them together. Squeeze that apple.
Adrian Hill, after they had come up with 2 offensive rebounds, comes back with the score.
Nice look. And the push. Ooh. Oh, my goodness. Wow.
Blalock charged with the charge.
I think it may have been Homan. No, you're right on the early one. I thought Homan felt he got fouled as well.
I'm impressed with how well that Adrian Hill for Rutgers can play with all that garb that he has on.
You know something, guys? He's not injured, and he's not covering up tattoos, which some schools have made players do.
I think he's just chilling.
Well, it's just part of his. It's part of his outfit.
He's playing on the ice here.
11 different articles he told me at the shoot-around today that he puts on.
Marquis Webb. We've had some highlighters in this first half, haven't we?
Well, that's what's made them better. I think they've improved at getting to the tin. It's very important when you shoot the ball as well as they do.
Homan, they let him go a little bit because they don't think that he can kill him. So he's going to have that shot, it would appear, all night.
And he's decent with it, too. He's got some range. 44% field goal shooter.
He's got 7 points, and Sullivan still with a goose egg.
Any Iowa farm boy that grew up on a dairy farm, they know how to knock down 12 or 15 footers.
Well, is that all the room they have?
That's about it. That's all you can do.
Tonight's ESPN exclusive coverage of the NCAA Women's Championship continues. Midwest Regional Final from Norman, Oklahoma. Stanford, the number 6 seed, takes on the number 1 seed, the Lady Vols of Tennessee. 9 o'clock Eastern. All a part of a week of madness presented by Harley-Davidson on ESPN.
That will be a ball game. If my memory serves me correctly, Tennessee beat Stanford earlier this year in overtime. And Tennessee right now, I'm sure they're still giving their thankfuls upstairs for how their win advanced against Baylor, huh?
They should.
Yes, they should.
There was some question in the paper today. They were trying to scrutinize that one. Do you notice the dribble again? This is a team that if you take it away, they've gotten better at analyzing. Put it on the deck. Finisher fine.
Douby scores his 14th point. Neal now in the ball game for Iowa State. John Neal, a 6'4", 190-pound sophomore out of Winterset, Iowa.
And he's a great perimeter defender and can make the 3. A couple of big ones against Iowa. You know how important that game is in that state.
Well, nice job defensively. As soon as Sullivan thought he was free, Axe stepped out and picked him up.
Well, nice job defensively. Stinson really struggling. It's partially the defense and maybe the hands.
10th turnover. Ooh. Too many, and this is a club that's had more turnovers than assists on the year, and that's always a red warning sign.
Absolutely. They only average around 14 a game as a group.
Well, it's a 9-point margin. Iowa State had cut it to 2 with a 9-0 run. Here's Douby.
Now this is more man. Yeah, see, I think they've got some wrinkles each trip, maybe on a made or a miss.
And it has slowed Rutgers down a little bit this possession.
So much for that. You got to challenge shooters, though. I don't care if they make them. Don't give them an open opportunity.
Stinson. 4 on 3 in the break, but a good job by Rutgers, and they broke down. They left Homan free for his 9th point.
And you know what I like, Ron? He didn't dunk it. They sliced him a little bit. He just made sure he put it in. Nothing fancy. Just get it done.
And again, his skill set is what? Plays hard.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
he was there in front of the rim. He ran the floor to be there.
The bigs running big, no matter how slow. They got his pin down on Hill.
Adrian Hill with his first. So let's take a timeout. 36-29, Rutgers on top. And here's the fast break just a moment ago. Vroman inside and put away by Homan.
Yo, Pete, check it out, man. I'm so ready for the game. Hey, chips, dips, this sub's bigger than your head. You ready for the game?
Yeah, you could say that. Get ready for the game at Gateway. Our plasma is the #1 selling in the country because of people who have more brains than money. They start at under $2,500 after purchase of wall mount kit and $300 instant savings. So get into the game with Gateway.
We were held hostage for hours when these guys just stormed in. I don't know where they came from or who they were. I just know the only people left alive were us and them.
Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six 3, rated M for mature.
Imagine steak and shrimp, or shrimp and steak. Imagine having both of these on just one plate.
Applebee's new steak and shrimp double features. Get happy.
So happy together.
I'm George W. Bush, and I approve this message.
John Kerry's economic record? Troubling. Kerry voted to increase taxes on Social Security benefits. And he voted against giving small businesses tax credits to buy health care for employees. Kerry even supported raising taxes on gasoline, 50 cents a gallon. Now John Kerry's plan will raise taxes by at least $900 billion his first 100 days in office. And that's just his first 100 days.
Duke, 13 straight wins, 2 straight Final Fours, but in trouble against the 7th seed Minnesota. Juel McCarville working hard down low, friend.
She's a big girl. She finishes strong right here.
26-19, Minnesota on top. Complete highlights of the half, guys.
So 36-29 our count, 3 minutes and 48 seconds left until halftime. Jake Sullivan has had a difficult time tonight. No points. Average for the season almost 15 per ball game. And how about Rutgers? They started off 4 of 6 from beyond the arc. Since then, only 1 of 8.
You know what? It's the subtle tendencies that Wayne Morgan has done defensively. I think has got Rutgers out of that smooth catch-and-shoot rhythm they had the first 3 or 4 minutes. And again, I like his patience defensively as a coach.
I think he believes in his own principles.
Yep.
Therefore, maybe the triangle, maybe man, and then a box and one, and then maybe a matchup again. So he's throwing a lot of different wrinkles. And Sullivan, he can bite you, though, if they get him some open looks. No, offense. Put the shoulder down. Ooh. Staple. Number 2, I think.
Yep, it's number 2 on him. That's right. And that's 9 team fouls against Iowa State. And immediately, Homan is going to come back into the ball game. They were getting him a little break, and Staple comes to the bench.
Staple, one of those, a screen, slips to the goal, can run the floor. But when you get the early 2, you're not doing much running.
That's right. It's like Lamizana. We're just now seeing him again.
And this is a little bit of a gamble, I think.
I agree with you.
You're in control in a sense, but he's got to play within himself. On occasion, he can get out of sorts and charge or get a little bit out of control.
Well, I think they're matched up again on the 2 primary shooters, and it's a triangle and 2.
Or a one-man zone. You know, it could be.
It could be.
Yeah.
Lamizana's back. 4 points for him.
Again, he will get looks because of his skill set at 6'10".
See, now that's how he can bite. So he got his first clean look on a dribble handoff. Great screen. Vroman.
Lamizana, that's a poor choice on that shot right there. As he came down, no passes, and put up one from way outside. Blalock, not there. And Axani says, 1 and out, fellas.
Maybe if I'm Iowa State, I want to keep those bigs involved in this basketball game.
If you don't have a good one, back
yes.
it out, right? I mean, they've been doing a nice job, solid on the block. He's just staying in that lane, Vroman. Here's a straight man now with switching on the perimeter. Nice slip for the goal. Pretty.
Well, Axani with a second chance, can't get it to go, and here comes Iowa State. Wow.
Neal out of bounds, unfortunately. A lot of lines here.
I'll tell you, Gary Waters is disbelieving that they didn't score in the sequence down here. And Homan obviously got a clean block. No whistle.
Yeah, I think Axani rushed it a little bit. They were right there looming over him.
#12th turnover by the Cyclones.
Lamizana's in the game, Jim. I think you got to use him if you're gambling.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
you're going to get out
shot.
Yeah.
And then get him out, I think. Where are you going? Where are you going?
Shields.
Come on.
They get the long carom. He did not hit the iron, so the shot clock
and I don't think they
is
know.
at 12 seconds.
Although Webb may know. Now this is Douby's range out here. They don't know.
The coaches on the other end of the floor can't really help him like you'd like either.
2 seconds down to 1, and it is rebounded by Vroman.
In the second half, that wouldn't have happened because the coaches are on your end.
This is just what you were saying, Jimmy. Where's he going? Let the big guys get involved if you don't have a good. Nice steal by Douby. Hold on. Can he do? Douby do.
After a block, the second one of the ball game by Lamizana. This is the largest lead of the night by Rutgers. Sullivan for 3.
Twice now he's gotten great looks.
About 16 seconds difference, Bill, between the shot clock and the game clock.
And Lamizana's got to be careful. He does not want to do anything, even on an offensive rebound. Stay away, and at the other end, even give a basket. That 3, they don't know. They're looking for the end. Too late. Too late. They were thinking the shot clock and game clock were one and the same.
So that's 2 straight trips where once confusion, and that other shot may not have drawn iron, you know? That may have been the reason they didn't reset it.
Absolutely.
Coming up on the halftime report with Dave Repson and Fran Frischella. Major League Baseball opener, Ernie Kent live, and Minnesota and Duke women. That and more coming up on the halftime report.
Pretty good effort, though, by Rutgers. What do you think of it?
Oh, no question about it.
Making shots, obviously, and distant shots.
Billy, the shooting percentages are now down, but listen to this. Iowa State is still at 59% because everything is inside, and Rutgers 52% from the field, even with all the misses they've got from beyond the arc.
And they were 67%, what, about 4 minutes ago?
Yeah.
So the deep shots are the problem, but good anticipation defensively. The guards are long. Jimmy had alluded to that. They know how to deny and play the passing lanes. And right here, a nice step in and off to the races. And we've seen him make deep ones. This one, a little chippy. Send it in.
16 points.
BKY.
16 points for him.
You know, both teams are emotionally high, I think, Ron. A lot to prove. I think they both felt they deserved or warranted an opportunity, but failed late. Maybe the lack of road wins in Iowa State's case, and the Virginia Tech loss didn't enhance in the Big East Rutgers status, but they've stepped up nicely in the NIT.
And frankly, Wayne Morgan has to say one thing at halftime, one statement. Value the basketball, because this many turnovers, I don't care how well you're shooting, how well otherwise you're playing, you just can't do that.
And right now they'll take the last one. If they get it under 10, that's a heck of a half.
Yeah.
They've dodged a great shooting by Rutgers.
Stinson, they get it inside, and Vroman puts it up with the left hand, and he was fouled.
They played with that around the rim too. It may have been off to the side. Now they're saying 2 shots. It was on the way up. What a nice catch.
Take a close look at it, Billy. I think that thing was touched on the rim.
It's straight up in the cylinder, as we know, Ron. Straight up to the ceiling. You know what? It may have been. They were very fortunate. It hit the rim. But Vroman with wonderful hands and the ability with that left hand to release it.
Well, we talked about Jackson. His dad started off at UCLA, then transferred to UNLV. So he played for the Wizard of Westwood, and then he played for Tart. So the bloodlines are good. His dad, an excellent ball player. And that'll do it as far as the first half is concerned. Douby, 16 points, and let's go to Jimmy Dykes, who was with head coach Wayne Morgan. Jimmy?
Coach, you've played several defenses this first 20 minutes. Which one worked the best, and which one will we see more of in the second 20 minutes?
Our defense just needs to have a lot better effort. Not even which defense we played. There are principles of the defense that we're just not adhering to, and we got to correct. Okay?
You want to keep that inside attack established?
Yeah, we need to get the ball inside. They're having trouble handling us there.
Okay, Coach. Thanks for your time.
So we are at halftime, and it's Rutgers ending it in a 13-5 run. A 10-point lead, Rutgers. Dave Repson, let's go back to you.
Okay, Ron, thanks a lot. So very impressive first half from the Scarlet Knights. Dave Revson along with Fran Fraschilla in our studio. And I'll tell you, that Rutgers backcourt looking great, Fran.
Well, Quincy Douby, the freshman from Brooklyn, New York, this guy could really shoot the ball. Gary Waters has got an exciting thing going on at Rutgers. He's built a program at Kent State, and he's starting to get New York and Jersey kids to stay home. Quincy Douby is a good basketball player.
Yeah, Gary Waters said to these kids before the NIT, pulled out what equated to a contract, a piece of paper, and said, look, if we're going to play in this thing, you got to promise me we're going to play hard, and they have certainly done so in the first half, looking very good. Lots of other stuff to catch you up on. We start off with opening day in baseball in kind of an unconventional way, from the AL East to the far east for the Yankees. Could they dominate that area like they've dominated their division? Opening day in the Tokyo Dome, and there's Jason Giambi going deep. 2-0 Yankees on the 2-run shot by Giambi. But in the 7th inning, Tino Martinez, the former Yank, his 300th career homer. And the Devil Rays go on to beat the Yankees 8-3 the final in that one. ESPN's Stephen Smith reports that the Sixers' Allen Iverson is done for the rest of the regular season due to cartilage damage in his right knee. The regular season likely all the Sixers have left. They are 3 games back of Boston for the East final playoff spot with 8 games to play. Other news, the NFL approving instant replay for 5 more seasons, added a new twist as well. Any team that is successful in 2 challenges in a game will get a 3rd. College hoops coaching news. Sources telling ESPN.com's Andy Katz that Eastern Washington coach Ray Giacoletti is going to get the Utah job tomorrow, succeeding Rick Majerus, who resigned due to health concerns. And Manhattan coach Bobby Gonzalez on the short list to replace Perry Clark at Miami. Hurricanes athletic director Paul D. went to Chicago last night to meet with Gonzalez, who was there due to a prior commitment. Minnesota and Duke, we've been telling you about it, a spot in the women's Final Four on the line. And Minnesota, Lindsey Whalen, back from the injury, looking good for them. And then Jenna McCarville has just been terrific the last few games. She had 25 points, 15 rebounds, and 7 blocks against the Lady Vols. Have a great one coming in next year in Candace Parker, 6'3" high schooler, winning the Powerade Jam Fest over 5 boys in suburban Oklahoma City. You can see Parker make history tomorrow night, 8 Eastern, on ESPN. Former champs in this include LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, Vince Carter. And that's impressive, Frank.
And now Candace.
NIT, brought to you by the Document Company Xerox. There's a new way to look at it.
40-30, Rutgers on top by 10. And gentlemen, 2 figures jump off this stat sheet at me. 13 turnovers, Iowa State in the first half. 20 points off turnovers. I don't care who you're playing. They're shooting 59%, and they're down by 10. Can't do that.
Makes it tough, especially against the club, the Rutgers, that came out locked and loaded, man. They were firing away from the 3. Did a terrific job of scoring from the perimeter to establish the rhythm of this ball game early. And again, this is a club, only 36% so far in this ball game, Bill, but they normally shoot 50% in NIT tournament play. So that tells you they can go hot, they can go cold, and they can go right back hot again if you don't stay after them defensively.
And how about going inside? 9 for 11, Vroman and Homan. That rhymes, by the way. 20 points total. Get it inside. Let the big guys do a little damage.
Well, the shooting percentages actually very, very good. But the amazing thing is, if I told you Iowa State's at 59%, they're down by 10. But then you look at the turnover, and that's where they're getting killed. 51.6% for the Scarlet Knights. Well, Stinson coming back home tonight. You wonder if he might not be trying a little too hard. Averaging almost 16 points a game, only 3 tonight. And for Jake Sullivan, averages almost 15, no points tonight. 0 for 3, and actually he only had 1 good look. The other 2 were almost forces.
And that's 31 points they average between them. They got to get perking, maybe a little more relaxed. Sometimes it'll settle in for them. And Blalock at the point now. Stinson off the ball.
Guys, Iowa State with 13 turnovers and 13 made baskets. Hard to win ball games with that ratio. And
not a nice little high-low, but the turnover there, Vroman a little too fancy. Lamizana a little too long.
Well, Rutgers has proven time and time again that they've worked on that. That's probably 5 of the turnovers have come off that distinct play. Shields, and I think he was held. First foul on Stinson.
And a big concern coming in here for coaches were the lines on the floor. The NBA three-pointer, they get a walk here. The blue line being the college line. In fact, we'll talk about that with Tommy Emiker. He said, don't go beyond the blue line. I said, what are you talking, Ranger hockey here? Two-pass violation?
Wayne Morgan huddled his kids up after the shoot-around and made that exact point. They're the blue line, not the white line, guys.
Bill, we've done this, what, 10 years? Something. Every year we hear coaches say the same thing. You say, remember, guys, there are two lines. The first one's not for us.
And that time, unfortunately, the ball went over the end line. Another turnover. Sullivan this time. That's unbelievable for a team that only averages roughly 14. If you're going to make a comeback, you got to get shots, don't you think, Jim?
You got to get them, and you have to make them, and you also have to get some stops. Again, they played 3 or 4 different looks in the first half. Let's see what they stick with the second 20 minutes.
Tell you what, guys, Lamizana was very fortunate they called a travel on him because he could have gotten an offensive foul. He's going to be traveling again, but on the play prior to this, where the defender was set and he went right over the top of it. Lucky that a walk was called. It would have been his third.
Did you see Vlade Divac out there, though, Vroman? That one, I mean, that was an Oscar. Turn and face. He's got the fadeaway here. A little bounce or two. He likes to drop step baseline if he has it. And look, Lamizana with the hold, and that's number 3.
That's the spot on the floor that Rutgers can't guard.
No, they're not very good down there. They're not physical. You mentioned Lamizana, more of a wing type of body.
Yeah, he doesn't have a true NBA position at this point, not in my eyes.
No.
So he's got such great anticipation as a leaper. That's the reason he blocks so many shots.
There you go.
Sullivan on the runner at the 18:29 mark.
He's a tough little guy, isn't he?
Yep.
So his dad was a police chief?
His dad is
You better be
police
tough,
chief.
huh?
That's exactly right. And Jake would like to be the chief of this team, and he is as far as a leader. And as I told you today, Bill, if there's anything that he might be guilty of, sometimes it's trying too hard, trying to do too much. Turnover Rutgers, and Stinson comes right back, drives it in the middle, gets the easy hoop.
Again, he's a scorer more than a shooter. Only a 28% three-point guy, so again, when he catches, his first and second instinct, over the head, attack the rim.
They're stepping up the pressure a little bit. I think you've got to cut against this zone in the middle. Or dribble drive, one of the two.
Got a little fancy with the pass. They turn it over. Here's Blalock. Bounces off to Homan. What a nice play. And all of a sudden, it's a 6-0 run.
He took away the defense, too. Turned it back. A little more hop in their step right now.
So we'll take a break. 17:28 left. Here's a look at that fast break. Blalock off to Homan.
Back to Madison Square Garden, Iowa State starting to cut in the lead just a little bit. I love the effort by Jackson Vroman, number 4 in white. Watch him where he starts and where he's going to finish. A kid that's 6'10", has terrific speed. He can run and he will run. And again, he's ambidextrous around that rim, can jump left-footed, right-footed, finish right hand, left hand. He's a hard match.
He can swim, too.
He can swim, too, and play soccer.
They say he's amphibious.
You know, Wayne Morgan said it to shoot around today as he took time to visit with us. He said he's the hardest working big man that I've ever been around. As you look at the Star Watch comparison, Vroman 13 points, 6 of 7 for the field. Lamizana in foul trouble, only 4 points for him.
You know, Ron, you talked about Vroman's growing up playing soccer. How many soccer kids have we seen over the years that are big kids?
Well, Ewing
that
comes to mind.
from it. Exactly.
In this building with his name or his letter up in the rafters. A lot of guys. I think mostly international players.
I believe Hakeem played soccer in his days.
Homan got a piece of that one right there, and it's on the floor, and Homan with the hustle gets it off to Blalock. 3-on-1. Stinson.
An old-fashioned bounce pass, Jimmy Dykes. They get the numbers. It's nice when you have choices.
Boy, terrific effort again by the bigs of Iowa State. Look at him double up that basketball. Big fella gets on the floor to save it, and out to rip and run to the other end for Iowa State. And their aggressive level has taken to another level in the second 20 minutes.
Wayne did not seem happy with you, or maybe it wasn't you. Maybe it was his team's play.
He wasn't happy with anyone within earshot when he left the floor at halftime.
I imagine that locker room needed a little
dusty,
a little fire retardant on the wall, a little asbestos.
Paint was warping.
Well, it's a 1-point ball game, a 9-0 run by the folks from Maine.
Stuck on 40 for Rutgers.
Shields. Oh, that's a quick jump, moving backwards, knocks it down.
And Stinson taking it right to him, and the find with Homan diving to the 10. Heck of a play with the dribble drive by Stinson.
Bill, and again, the bigs of Iowa State committed to run.
Absolutely, and very alertly as well. A lot of guys stand there and wait and see what materializes.
Sullivan on Douby, holds up, too hard on the shot. Lamizana tips it back out to get a fresh 35.
The first one was too close. He does have rage.
After the first four, though, he's gotten kind of icy.
And I think Jimmy was mentioning the change in D. Nice post feed and a recovery by Lamizana.
I think it's his third of the night. It is 93 on the season, 237 for his career.
You know what? And Lamizana doesn't leave until the shooter leaves, but then the quickness up top. Terrific.
Look at Homan now. He's not even guarding Axani. That's why I think he can be free and be a factor here. Bring it to him and maybe make the pass. And nobody posts up in the lane.
Shields had an open look, not there, and Homan grabs off, still another rebound.
Ooh, high dribble, got away with it, but it was all right.
Stinson battles Lamizana. Lamizana on the last two trips has taken a chance on the block, and also that one with a guy with 3 fouls. So let's take a break. Lamizana with his third block of the night as it goes up, and it comes right back out. Leading by 1. There is the Oregon team already in the building here at Madison Square Garden. Luke Jackson looking on. They will follow 20 minutes after this first ball game with the game number 2 of our semifinals tonight. Jimmy not only does announcing, he's gone into floor work. What do you got there?
You know what? Hilton Coliseum on Iowa State's campus, it actually flooded in 1993. So they carved up the floor, auctioned it off. And Iowa State has obviously struggled on the road all year, so they took this actual piece of the floor with them from 1993 to Florida State. They touched it before they left the locker room. They touched it again at halftime. They won at Florida State. So obviously the first thing they pack on their road trip to New York is, again, Hilton Coliseum floor from 1993, trying to take some of the magic of Hilton on the road with them. I like the plan.
That's people what they call it up in Ames, Hilton Magic.
Yeah.
People have said we're a little touched, so why not touch the board too? But, you know, at Seton Hall, we had the opposite end of a parquet. It was the most unbelievable. It was a great home court advantage. We had more dead spots than you might find in the local cemetery.
And you still managed to lose games.
We inverted everything. In fact, the one-loss record as well. That is a great home court. Over the years, Johnny Orr's the first time I went up there. Jeff Greer, of course, All-American.
Ron, when that place flooded, it flooded now, didn't it?
Yeah, it was up over 10 feet inside the building. Bill's right, though. It was great fun. Johnny Orr would take the court, and the kids would go, here's Johnny. Shot clock down to 3, down to 2. Nope, it's off the mark. Sullivan rebounds.
And look at the bigs run, just as you noted, Jim. And the hold off.
Blalock blocked. Lamizana would block number 4. They go right back to Blalock. Intimidated, and therefore he missed the shot.
Nice shot by Lamizana, hanging tough.
Yeah, really tough. Adrian Hill back into the lineup, number 4.
That's where I think he's tough. Didn't get it up at top enough. Oh, my goodness, what a great...
Oh, my goodness.
And Stinson just was working his magic, looking for himself. And you get a bailout when you hustle like that. Fortuitous run. What a big fella.
Well, it's the first lead since Iowa State was on top 6-5.
Bill, I know it's a simple point that we're driving home about the bigs of Iowa State to run, but from a coaching standpoint, you and I both know it's not easy to get guys to commit for 40 minutes when they're 6'10 and 240.
Well, you know what helps when the little guys are unselfish like that, too. That really makes them feel good.
Douby, nope. Great job inside by Adrian Hill, the sophomore out of Canton, Ohio.
A.H. likes attacked and in, but he sent it in. That's his game. Aggressive. Good pump.
Sullivan, little short on that one. Vroman comes away with it.
He just had to pin a guy and keep his arms down. Hill never got him up.
Sullivan on the run, and he gets that one.
You know what he does awfully well? When he sells the pump fake, his eyes go to the rim. A lot of guys don't do it. They'll pump fake, and they're looking right at you. He sells it completely.
And he is not afraid to get in and get hit, too, with the bounce.
Douby.
Nice, huh? Sullivan tried to contain, could not. Douby prevails.
Student section not booing. It's for Douby. Well, he's with 18 points now.
Ooh, and they got an inside screen out of Vroman. Hits the deck. I think Hill may have discarded him.
That's going to be 3 fouls on Adrian.
Lamizana can change the game on both ends of the floor, but especially defensively, because, again, how quickly he can elevate. Has great hands, keeps balls in play. Look at him. Up, boom, just gets you up top.
Just his presence.
Don't you love his effort?
Yeah. Oh, no question.
Just keeps after it.
And they had set him down. He has been in some pretty close skirmishes here. He's playing with 3 fouls, so he'll go out at the 12:47 mark. But they're going to have him. Can't have him on the bench.
Yeah, because if I'm Iowa State now, my first, second, and third option every time is inside.
Absolutely.
And now Hill has to go to the bench as well, picking up his third.
What impresses you about Vroman, he can do so many things on the box, too. Create, gets to the free throw line. Oh, no.
Jefferson maybe got away with a charge.
Vroman had loaded up. They haven't even watched him. There, they finally get it to him. This guy's got a little game. He can bounce himself to ecstasy or post.
Stinson. Shields thought that it should have been a tie ball, or I beg your pardon, Douby thought it should have been a tie ball, but he had his arm instead. It's only his first.
You get the feeling they're bunched up, though, Iowa State right now?
Spacing is not
very much.
The passing lane isn't what it could be.
One grenade would get them all. You don't like that offensively, do you?
No, no. It leads to your demise, obviously.
Of the 4 teams at the NIT, this is the worst shooting of the team, 65%. And consider if they didn't have Jake Sullivan at 93%, what would they be?
Yeah, when a couple of 50s jump out at you, that's not in your best interest come stretch time.
Stinson gets them both.
Right there's the number 7 career NCAA free throw shooter in history, Jake Sullivan. That's how good he is.
Look at the dictionary under Jim Rat, and you'll find J-A-K-E. Coaches said he almost had to lock the door to get him out.
Common denominator with all great shooters. Hours and hours and hours shooting that ball.
Well, he doesn't forget to shoot, but he forgot his shaver, fellas.
Wiggan, woo.
And they got a chance here.
This is Neal. Back to Vroman. The bouncer, Neal left alone, and his shot is rejected. Axani gets it. Pretty. And then Staple fouled by Axani.
They got some spirit. We mentioned Sullivan over there. He's applauding, but Neal, they visited Notre Dame, as you know. And they drove out in the field. They looked at touchdown. Jesus, got to look at this great football field. They started chanting, Rudy, Rudy. And guess who's Rudy on this team? John Neal.
That's right.
And right here, the attack aggressively getting to the free throw line.
Well, they tell us today, John Neal's from Winterset, Iowa, the birthplace of John Wayne.
Sure.
Anyone born in the same town as John Wayne, you know, is going to have some grit, some toughness, some effort about him, right?
That's the reason. You talk to John Neal, sometimes he refers to you as Pilgrim. We'll take a break. The 2-point lead, Iowa State. We got a good one going.
So back in the studio, updating you on that game on ESPN for a berth in the women's Final Four, Minnesota and Duke, and it's getting closer. Monique Curry hits and draws the foul. The 3-point play pulls Duke to within 1 run.
All righty, and here's a reminder. Tonight, ESPN's exclusive coverage of the NCAA Women's Championship continues in the Midwest. In Norman, Oklahoma, it'll be Stanford taking on the Lady Vols at 9 Eastern, all a part of a week of madness presented by Harley-Davidson on ESPN.
That will be the last spot in the Final Four, and I saw one locked up last night by LSU, Simone Augustus. If she's watching this ball game, I'm going to salute her again. Do about 29, 30 points on the board. She's knocking down 70% of her shots in the NCAA tournament. Outstanding player.
I saw one of her replays last night. It was just I was spellbound. Douby.
What a shot off the timeout. Unbelievable.
Well, he picked an excellent time to come out of his frozen state.
Now that'll get you healthy. And once again, the penetration and the fine. Stinson and going left, Ron. You had mentioned earlier he had a little trouble with the bounce left.
Well, I mean, it shows you, good athletes adapt to situations. They're going to continue to take the right away from him and make him go to the left.
When's the last Iowa State turnover on this ball game?
They have not turned it over now for like 8.5 minutes. They had 2 in the first minute of the second half, and that foul is going to be on Rutgers.
The ability to shoot the ball after a timeout, that's like calling the 3-play. You think it's going to intricate offense. Just get it to this guy, Jimmy. A little nylon from deep. Unbelievable range.
Raf, every ball game, 6, 8, 10 points a game are decided coming out of a timeout. Chalk up 3 that time to Rutgers.
Well, they had 15 points in the first half from threes. They calmed down, and that could set up their dribble game, or with Lamizana on the floor. And it's some inside game, although he's not there right now.
Billy, we talked about Iowa State shot 59% in the first half, and they had 13 turnovers. Only 2 turnovers this half, and you just creep back in. They're still at 57%.
Vroman gets a piece of this one. Homan came up empty.
Shields, boy, quick first step. Gets between the 2 defenders, and it's going to be on Jackson Vroman.
The only thing I question sometimes is how much of a hurry you are to get a shot up. Like, they don't get a chance to load up people. Joins was in the low post area begging for the basketball. Fortunate to get to the free throw line.
Wayne Morgan's done a great job this year with Jackson Vroman. Vroman, a kid that sometimes can march to the beat of his own drum. And Wayne has done a terrific job, I think, handling him his senior year.
Well, you can be late.
Exactly. And tonight, I'm bookended by greatness. Greatness on the right, greatness on the left.
I thought you meant the Bruce Brothers on Iowa State.
It's elder greatness, but it's greatness.
It almost sounds like a wine. Rutgers back on top by 1, and about to go under 10 minutes left in this first semifinal game. Jefferson for 3.
Now, they were just running a high-low play, and he jacked it up. Why be in such a hurry? A nice hustle here by the big. This time, Homan. Unbelievable effort by their 2 big people.
Yeah, I'm not sure you can play the game any harder than Homan plays.
No.
Again, you grew up on an Iowa farm. Your parents are dairy farmers. You're used to the work ethic.
Getting up early. Well, we have that ethic, or getting in early, one of the 2.
Bob Sunbowl, one of the assistant coaches at Iowa State, was up and was hollering at Jefferson, pointing to his head, saying, use your head. Don't come down and take that early shot. Boy, that shot is rejected right there, but a foul inside, and that may be Jefferson who they got. Here's a look at Bob. Now, Bob says that John Sunbold is his brother. John says Bob is my brother.
Well, there's no question. I've never seen Bob shoot, but I'm sure John is the better shooter of the 2. I think video. His son is alongside there.
I watched his son shoot, and his son takes after his Uncle John. Thank goodness.
Oh, what a break for him. But the little matchup zone, they got the open look, and then joins gathering at the rim for the follow.
Jefferson with his 3rd foul as the break is taken. Tomorrow at 8 Eastern, catch the 2004 Powerade Jam Fest. And at 9 Eastern, some of the best high school players in the nation meet in the McDonald's High School All-American Game. All a part of a week of madness presented by Harley-Davidson on ESPN. And for more information, log on to ESPN.com.
Hey, Ron, Tennessee is going to try to lock up their berth to the Final Four later tonight. Candace Parker from Naperville, Illinois. She's already committed to Tennessee. She's in the dunk contest. She wins the dunk contest this year on the boys' side.
You're kidding.
I'm telling you.
Have you ever read any bestsellers or?
No.
Oh, just curious. I know you're busy analyzing everything from, well, the dog jumping in the summer, correct?
Big air dogs.
Well,
where the paws go, the body must follow.
The elevation, the full extension. I've heard you this summer. But, this Rutgers, speaking of elevation and full extension, the football team under Greg Schiano, 5-7. Nobody expected that run, right? I mean, what a nice turnaround. And Bob Bouquet hired him. And, of course, Gary Waters. There's Bob. And what a success story. They've got it going a little bit now. Lately, 3 years in a row in the NIT. And the home court, such a great advantage. And as you mentioned, starting the kids from their home state. So
joins, speaking of young successes, high school teammate of Carmelo Anthony. Got both of the free throws. And also just picked up his first foul.
And I'm sure he got most of the rebounds as Carmelo jacked them up, too. Joins.
Beg your pardon, it is his second foul. And team foul number 7 on Rutgers.
Well, Iowa State, when they had the lead, it was because their bigs were running and they were keeping them involved in the half court. The last 2 or 3 minutes, the Iowa State guards have gone a little crazy on it.
Well, you know, it's funny that balance that you have to have as a good team. And it's really directed by the guards and, in essence, the point guy. And Blalock would be the guy this time. Because Wayne first messed him up at Syracuse. He said, I'm ready. I'm ready to be a head coach. And he's very patient. Finally got that opportunity. Unfortunately, the sadness of Larry Eustace, who I'm delighted to see, is getting his opportunity again. And there's Blalock, the point guy, trying to contain the bounce here.
Ron, keep an eye on those Iowa State turnovers. They average 17 turnovers in their losses, only 13 in their wins.
They're nearing 17 right now. Jump. Axani, that's going to be a jump ball. Possession says Iowa State.
See, now, if I'm Axani, I'm going to say to Shields, you got stuck. Spin dribble and you throw it to me. It's like late in the shot clock. What do you want me to do? I mean, he got stuck in a tough position. Untenable.
Well, 15 turnovers, only 2 this half on Iowa State. We are now under 10 minutes to play. Rutgers, 13 turnovers for them. Nice. Back to Homan, and that ball is altered inside. I think it's the big fella who got a hand on it. Joins. Here's Juel Wiggan.
Nice show by Vroman. Nice hands. Look at this.
Wiggan missed it from point-blank range. Probably one too many passes from that closer range.
What are you doing with the bounce? Value the ball. Use them. Too late.
Douby. Axani, what great hustle on his part. He and Homan are a lot alike. Blue collar, but they just give you everything they got.
They got steps for a foul before. Now, Jimmy, I know you're shaking your head. Douby's taking a lot of deep shots, which is okay. He's very talented. But on a fast break, you got to give the ball up. You got to partner alongside. You had an angle out in front of us at half court, and I think that's why Gary took him out.
Exactly.
You got to pay your dues a little bit.
You love clubs that spread the floor in their transition as well as they spread the floor in their half court. Get away from each other, pass that ball. Got the numbers and convert.
Looks like Jefferson came down and put up that quick 3, and he's back on the bench.
Well, that's the only way. Pine time certainly gets people's attention.
Still the best motivator of all time, huh?
It sure is. Coach's best friend. Excuse me, Rob.
Axani with his second foul, 8th team foul against Rutgers, and we'll see if that looms large in this ball game or not. Nope. That ball is missed, and I think we got a foul on number 4, Jackson Vroman. No, I beg your pardon. It's on 41, George.
George trying to do something. Then we mentioned he's getting more time now, Jimmy, and I guess a little small change on the top with joints.
Well, Switzer may have some blood, and the official was trying to send him to the Rutgers bench, and the Rutgers bench was pointing, saying, no, he belongs to them.
Neutral corner he should have got to.
You can see it on the front of his uniform. They're going to have to saturate that and make sure it's removed before he can come back in.
And they may have to change the uniform number if they can't do it.
You may have to do that, which happens a lot of the time. Vic Miller, the trainer, the basketball trainer for Iowa State.
See, back when I was playing, Eddie Sutton would have told me, Dykes, take your jersey off, give it to Stinson. He made me take my shoe off once to give it to a teammate and let him finish the game. My jersey would have been next.
Well, now he treats you nicely, though.
He does.
Speaks highly of you and your work.
Well, he's done some work for himself this year.
Isn't that great?
Nope, it's not there. They battle for it, and here's Jefferson coming away with it.
And Sullivan battling the bigs in there.
Jake Sullivan.
Now they got a nice spread going. Here's their baseline rubs. Usually slip passes.
Vroman, they pick him up inside. George couldn't hold on. Did he save it? Nope, stepped on the inline. And it'll be 12 seconds on the shot clock as Jared Homan prepares to check back into the lineup. 55-52, Rutgers on top with 7:50 remaining. Stinson ready to come back.
Over on ESPN between Minnesota and Duke, NCAA Mid-East final for the women. Minnesota up by 7, but Vicky Krapel hits the 3 for Duke, and they are within 4. Lindsay Whalen, though, has been brilliant in this tournament, coming back from the injury. Beautiful spin move. Minnesota up by 2. Ron?
Okay, Rev, our situation, a 3-point ball game. Rutgers, Jimmy Dykes, you were eavesdropping in the Rutgers huddle. What was said?
Well, I think Gary did a great job, first of all, talking about staying aggressive the last 8 minutes of this ball game. And then he talked about getting more ball reversal, and they're wanting to establish some stuff on the inside. So he wants to get that balance going as well, Raph, right now in his offense.
You're like a kid trying to get in the game over there.
I was, wasn't I?
But you're right. They both have to do a better job. He's got some variety in his game, Vroman. He had that jump hook. We mentioned the turnaround jumper. Good with the bounce. They got a perfect trap here.
And they get the steal, Stinson, and that's going to be basket interference.
What a response by Vroman. He read that himself, all on his own, Jim.
Yeah, like a point guard. You're talking about a guy 6'10", putting on that full court pressure right there. Just to read and react defensively, and then Stinson attacks the rim.
Stinson with 16 points.
And they go full again. Good judgment now.
Shields.
Good call. A little late, but it was the right call.
There's going to be 2 fouls against Shields. And with Douby, if you wonder why he's not in the ball game, he has experienced cramps. They say he should return. He is up, in fact, now talking with his head coach, Gary Waters.
You think Quincy's saying run a few plays for me? What do you think?
Yeah.
Well, you know, guards you really don't have to run things for.
Not him, not these guys.
No, it's the inside people that suffer and perish on occasion.
Well, the difficult thing, and we talked about Iowa State, not a great free throw shooting team, and is the number 4 group of the 4 that made it here to Madison Square Garden. Rutgers tonight, 8 of 8 at the free throw line.
And I mentioned the inability to get to the free throw line. Ricky Shields only 76 of 100 coming into this game, which is just a little over 3 a game. I think he should get there more often.
Well, Rutgers back to a 3-point lead. We're about to go under 7 minutes to play. Coming up 20 minutes after this one is over, it will be Michigan taking on Oregon.
You know, Jimmy, what I haven't seen a lot of, the screener sequences that they use. They tried to run it, they didn't run it. They weren't in the right spots, and it's usually Sullivan. He gets a big and then receives one from a big.
Shields with his 2nd foul.
I mentioned he forgot his shaver for his head.
He was supposed to be clean tonight.
He's supposed to be clean. He looks like a dirty tennis ball, I told him today. But he said he left it back in Ames.
You know, one thing, Jake, we talk about his leadership ability and everything that he contributes to this ball club. He also is a 3.43 great point average in the classroom for his 4 years work at Iowa State. He is a student athlete.
But they say his first 4 words were Mama, Dada, Kareem, and Magic. That's a junkie. Oh, quick pass. He had Axani. He gets to the free throw line so you can tolerate it. But I thought a nice quick hit and then up.
Well, that's what Gary talked about in his timeout. Again, is if he can't get to the low block off the pass, let's attack off that bounce. And that's exactly what Shields did that time. Shields, Douby, those guys now, they're quick with that basketball.
Vroman with his 3rd foul. Coming at the 6:56 mark. First miss by the Scarlet Knights tonight.
I said, stay on the line. A lot of guys back off quickly as Lamizana comes back in. So this should perk up their defense and also that flashing ability in the lane.
Can't look at Gary Waters anymore without thinking about the job he did at Kent. Boy, left Stan Heath a terrific club, which vaulted him to the Arkansas job after 1 year.
He went right to Ron Franklin, said Ron did one of his games a few years ago, and
sure did.
Thanked him for the kind words.
Toledo, Ohio, yeah, in their conference tournament. Homan backs it in, misses. Vroman misses on the tip, and I think he was held. The reason he couldn't jump. Yep.
Is it Axani?
Axani, yeah, he was holding on to his arm.
You know what these two big guys do well, Jim?
Shields, I beg your pardon?
Was it Shields? I think
yeah.
Either one they could have given it to. They bodied their guy on the shot a little deeper under the rim and such a disadvantage. Offensive rebound and rewarded.
So Shields now with 3 fouls, and it's double bonus. 10 team fouls against Rutgers.
Ron, I think Vroman at that free throw stripe, he went to like 14 or 15 different schools, K through 12. Bounced around over in Europe for a while. Again, he only played 1 year of high school ball, and he grew late. I think between his sophomore and junior year, he really sprouted up. And I've been very impressed with this kid's all-around game tonight.
I think he knows how to play. There's no question about it. He keys the defense here with the pressure. Got a turnover earlier. I think offensively he keys things with his ability to get himself free and makes great decisions.
You consider he didn't start until his senior year in high school. He's come a long way.
There's a case in point. He stepped in, plus the miss.
Stinson.
Look at this rebound.
Homan has it rejected.
What hustle. Doesn't matter. What a great job, though. They got a technical on Homan, I think.
Yeah. Firing that ball behind his back to the corner.
I don't know how malicious this was, Jimmy, only because he's mad at himself. He didn't get what he wanted.
Right.
And I just love the effort here.
Yeah, he's not arguing the call.
No. I mean, it's just he's...
Plus the fact he got fouled.
But this, again, you've got to love the passion and the effort this kid plays with.
Well, that's an unfortunate call. So Homan now has 3 fouls.
There's that adds 1 on.
Yeah.
At T.
Ooh. That's one of those balls after you shoot, you go,
Give me back. Give me the string on that. So the 2 bigs now have the 3 fouls. Vroman and Homan. And Wayne just giving them a few words there. Great control on the sideline, don't you think?
Very much so.
Very understated,
yes.
Wayne. Maybe that's what he learned up there besides a lot of things on the offensive end. Coach Banger doesn't say much.
Well, you know what, Wayne, he won more ball games than he lost at Long Beach State. Now, that's saying something there, I think.
You see the double there. Nice play. Axani saved it. Shot clock is at 10.
Yeah, a little nickel dimer by Sullivan, and he protests in vain.
Now we'll show you one more time. This is what happened to Homan. Well, I'm sorry. And particularly at this juncture of the ball game, that's not a technical foul.
It wasn't at the official.
It wasn't at it.
It was at the manager. Didn't bring the water over in time.
He just flipped it behind his back. That's poor.
I think
these guys have done a good job, but that one right there, I certainly put an asterisk next to that one.
Ron, I think what should happen in that case is you stop and say to the umpire, you shouldn't do that.
Yes. Yeah.
Don't do it again, and we'll have to do something. You know, it's unfortunate.
Stinson pulls up on the jumper, and he cans it.
You know, we have not seen his teardrop shot. That was close. He gets in that lane and flicks beautifully.
Well, for a slow start, he's now at 20 points, and we're tied as we're just under 5.5 minutes to play.
Stinson's got that good middle game. I mean, he's a former MVP at the Adidas camp. So he's a type kid that can get you for 8 or 10 more points with 5 minutes to go in this game.
Woo, so can he.
Wow.
Douby to the 10 with the kiss, Jimmy Dykes.
You know, they think that he could be maybe one of the all-time greats to ever play for Rutgers. You're talking about guys like Phil Sellers, and he just sets you up and measures you with that between the bounce and then the attack.
I'll tell you what, he can shoot like Bobby Lloyd, but Bobby couldn't put it down on the deck like this. Valvano would say he could if he were here, God rest his soul. But that was some backcourt in the old days at Rutgers. And this is the makings of one here. What a talented guy.
Talk about Jimmy V. He was known as Mr. Defense on that campus. But he's got a chance to be a star.
So Douby will go to the bench. No, just went over to talk to Gary.
Now, where do you go now? I think the bigs have to touch it for Iowa State.
Marquis Webb into the lineup. See the step out by Lamizana. It is blocked. And a three-pointer from Blalock.
Doesn't take a lot of them, but 42% on the year.
Tied again, this time at 62.
Lamizana has not been in the flow on the offensive end. Let's see if he can get himself going just a little bit.
You know, he doesn't fight to hold that low block position.
Oh, what a bad play here.
But they got the
Look at that
steal.
tip. Which way are they going to go? Oh, no. No. This is the wrong call. If anything, Shields, but Blalock made a wonderful
Yeah,
tip.
he did.
Oh, my goodness. A bang-banger. Oh.
I mean, watch the Iowa State player get a hand on the ball. That's a pass, and then he gets fouled.
Right. I mean, that's one of those play-ons, and it's unfortunate. You know, that's like blocking a shot, that anticipation of an official as to what could happen. And that's a tough turn of events.
Blalock was going for the basketball.
Well, he tipped it already.
The defender was going for his body.
Yeah, exactly.
Ref, you haven't seen it yet, I don't think, but that's a very similar play to what happened at the end of the Tennessee-Baylor women's game with 0.2 seconds on the clock.
Is that right?
But the ball was not even close to being shot.
Oh, my God. Ugh. Big turn of events here. Instead of a deuce it the other way, you give it up. The obvious 4-point swing prevails.
Two guys came in averaging 20 in this tournament.
They may get it again.
Yep.
Once again, Shields getting to the line frequently. That really helps them. There's that high-low. What a nice little set that is, Tim.
Holding on the turnaround. Wow.
Stay with it, I think.
I think he's better when he reverses the turn instead of going to his right.
Yeah, you might be right. Well, I think he read the defense well. And that's what your job is as an offensive player.
Little buddy game on the inside. Big screening for a big.
A nice little curl, almost Kansas-like how they used to do it.
Tough shot.
Look at this guy pursue. I mean, they really are aggressive. I don't think they elevate like a lot of guys in the country, but position and understanding.
Yeah, they get a ton of rebounds below the rim, don't they, because of that position.
Vroman. The same play, and they're going with it. And you know what? That was almost. Stinson likes to throw that arm off. That's the second time. He's got to be careful. And Jimmy, here's that little inside screen. I mentioned Kansas under Roy Williams. They used to run this little curl. And that's the read. High side left, drop step. And the big guy vacates nicely. Vroman. He could have jammed it up with his guy.
Terrific job of drifting off the guy with the basketball and sealing up the weak side in case the miss was there. I just think they've been on the same page all evening long, Vroman and Homan inside.
Well, Vroman's got 14 rebounds, Homan with 4. And in scoring, 21 points now for Stinson. Vroman has 14 points and 15 for Homan.
You mentioned you maybe was a little nervous at home. You ride the subway in this city. You don't stay nervous long. Or you lose the groceries.
You count the stops when you sleep even. 66-64, Iowa State.
Dave Revson back in the studio. Minnesota trying to make the Final Four as a 7 seed in the women's tournament. Check this out. Beautiful pass, Janelle McCarville to Lindsay Whalen. It's Minnesota up by 4. Ron.
All righty, our situation, 2-point lead, Iowa State. You take a look at the brackets. 20 minutes after this game is over, we will see Oregon, Michigan. So who will be the two that make it to the championship game on Thursday? And as we come back on camera, holding the parquet right there, do you think Hilton Magic is going to hold up for them?
Well, I think I got a chance. You know why? They came and actually got this from me at halftime and took it into the locker room so they could all touch it again. They've got a 1-game winning streak with this piece of the hardwood going with them.
How about this one?
A little hardwood up here, too.
It proves you try anything, right, as a coach
exactly.
or
This
as
time
a
of the
team.
year.
And right now, I think Rutgers has got to get some points inside, either with the dribble or the bigs touching it. That means Lamizana creating and usually Hill finishing if he gets by.
How about McCarville and Whalen putting a knot on the head of Duke right now? I tell you, that's as good an inside-outside combo in the women's game.
I wonder if a 7 seed has ever made it to the women's Final Four. And I don't think they have they?
They just ran a play for Lamizana. They forced him away from the box.
Shot clock is under 10.
To me, Bill, he'll drift off that box too easy, though.
Yeah, well, that's the leg strength, but that's what he can do, though. You're at a disadvantage of your Homan that far from the rim. He's got some ability, Ron.
Plus the fact Homan has the 3 fouls.
Yeah.
So couldn't go out maybe and stick to him quite as aggressively as he wanted to. Stinson strong to the hoop and he'll score it. And a chance for a 3-point play.
A little blow by, and then the soft smooch at the end.
You know what? The ball screens tonight have been set for Stinson so he can drive with his right. They haven't set him up on a ball screen to go left because of that bandaged hand.
How about those soft rims at the Garden? And that's number 4. Herve gets tagged for that one.
I still can't get over the fact that a kid that grew up playing at Rutgers Park in the Bronx, his nickname is Blue Collar. I mean, that looks a whole lot more like a Ray Ray or a Sleepy to me.
Or Showtime.
Yeah, Showtime.
Or Center Stage. And right now, he's sharing it here off Broadway.
We've got a stoppage here for just a second.
You know, on that particular play, I did not see Lamizana hit anybody. I think they making sure the debris hitting anybody and injuring anybody.
You know, and the fans here, obviously very wise basketball fans, they're turning around pointing at the guy who did it. They don't want their team, which is Rutgers, to get a technical foul.
First thing Ernie Kent said to me, he said, what about the neutral floor here? It looks to me like I'm playing at Rutgers.
A lot of red shirts out there.
3-point Iowa State lead.
Oh, and Vroman got away with one there. See, this is where he's tough. Now, that's a good-looking basketball play. That is the way to play. Drive the crack, get to the pinch, and kick and get the puppy set.
Tied again, under 2.5 left.
Boy, nice. Got to catch it, though. Nice poke away by Hill, huh?
May have gotten away with one.
Yeah.
Well, the last 2 minutes, most coaches, every trip down, one of those assistants will be hollering out, rebound the miss.
Well, see, I'm not big on Lamizana now. Twice he's gotten it. Good things have happened. Here's the third. Well, nice double and aggressively. How about him stepping through?
Well, you see how limited Stinson very quickly retreated because he didn't want to lose it in that left hand.
Yep. Again, every ball screen sets him up to drive hard right.
And boy, he's very lucky. Now they got him for it.
They got him for an offensive foul, his second. But what a huge time for it to come when you're tied at 69 and only 90 seconds left.
It's tough to turn the corner and be under total control once you get in the lane, Jim.
Lamizana does a good job of chasing from behind, and then the help defense steps up. Proper call. Dogs are set, contact's taken.
Basketball is simple when you think of it. Get in the cracks and get a position on the floor where they've got a long way to run, Jim.
Yeah, I'm not so sure you can help off of Douby right now late in the ball game. You're the defender assigned to Douby, and you're helping down on Lamizana, who has not shown tonight that he can drive from 20 feet and finish from 10. So he's penetrating with the idea of being a passer.
Rutgers, one full timeout, as has Iowa State. 2 30s for the Scarlet Knights, only one for Iowa State, and double bonus for both clubs. Possession error goes with Rutgers. Ties a career high at 28 points for Scooby, and 20th turnover against Iowa State. And the numbers are not good, as you said, when they turn it over more than 17 times.
Yep, they average 17 turnovers in their losses, only 13 turnovers in their wins.
Well, you think of both ends now, the big guys need to be involved. Vroman on the one end, whether it's a decision or the recipient of a high-low. And then the other end, Lamizana just really playing solid. And you think of Gary's massaging all night with his foul problems early, had to rest him, yo-yo him a little bit, just to have him down the stretch.
So Minnesota advances. The 7 seed wins over the number 1 seed Duke, 73 to 70. Wait a minute, did that have time on it? Not a final. 33 seconds left. Sorry.
That is a huge upset if it happens. A lot of folks felt like this was the best team that Gail Gessencourse has ever had at Duke.
Pretty. Again, the drive, draw, and finish. Climbing the hill. Douby. Well, he was the recipient And now sharing his thanks.
Adrian Hill has limited offensive range, but when you catch it from 3 and finish it from 1, that's pretty limited. A high percentage spot of the floor. Terrific drive of that basketball by Douby. Watch the defender rotate over. You've got to rotate over when they get that deep. Frees up an easy one inside.
And you can see Jefferson getting back too late. He's got to come away from the top to help out. It's interesting, both clubs doing a better job in their deploying after a halftime. Remember we said they were bunched up quite a bit, particularly Iowa State. Same thing now with Rutgers. Spread, make the defense run a great area, and try and cover the dribble, and they've been extremely successful.
If you're Wayne Morgan, what are you charting on the board over there, Bill?
I think the bigs have to get a touch. You know, they've run that little inside screen. I'd run some power game. Make the refs make a call. Get to the free throw line or score, or do both.
Sullivan has just struggled to get a catch in this ball game. Now he's on the floor in that far corner, but he's a confident enough shooter. He can go 38 minutes in a ball game without knocking one down and then get a dagger on you.
He is not afraid to drill it either.
Not at all.
Oregon, Michigan coming up next. And actually it's 20 minutes. That's how long they'll have to warm up. 20 minutes after the conclusion of this one. Here's Vroman. Back to Sullivan. They set the play. Three-pointer on the way.
And the giveaway. I'm not so sure I would have banked on the 3. I mean, I think you can get more with this team going in and out for that shot. They're such a good passing team. They feel for one another. That was trying to get it all quickly.
If anything, you could have used Sullivan as a decoy to stretch that defense. Hammer that ball inside with more ease.
Rutgers has been deadly at the free throw line in this game tonight. 11 of 14.
And Webb at 77%. Those are the guys you want down the end line. The end of the game.
61 seconds left in the ball game, trying to make it a 2-score affair.
And Marquis and Douby and Wiggan, they make free throws down the end of the game. So important. So much for that thought.
I still say you get the high percentage shot.
Yeah, and plenty of time. Stretch the game.
Stinson can't get it. It's going to be 1 and out again. Vroman tries for the tie-up, and he comes up with the foul. I believe it's number 4. Yeah.
And Ron, back-to-back possessions for Iowa State. When they had to have a bucket, the 2 bigs didn't touch the basketball.
Right. Jump shots. They will kill you. Not that it was a bad look.
Right.
But they can do some damage and punish you.
Well, what a great house here tonight at Madison Square Garden. As we told you, Rutgers is only 45 miles away, and there's a train stop right there. And they have come in big numbers this evening.
I don't know if they'll make the train back. There is a curfew on the train out of Natchez here.
Well, the perimeter game has pretty much been the story, and they've got just enough of the balance of some inside off the push, off the attack of the rim, to have Rutgers with a lead right now. But this guy has flat-out stroked that basketball, has caught it in rhythm, has shot through passing lanes at times. And again, he may end up being one of the all-time best to ever put on a Rutgers uniform.
I think he's just got a nice gait about him, too. He glides, but he's got blow-by ability around him.
Billy, 6 of 10, 60% tonight in this ballgame. Talk about clutch.
And that's just a terrific play on penetration, too. I think that's what he's got to do a little bit more of. You've got to run out on him, Jim, and you got to be in control because he's explosive and he's unselfish.
You know what, talking to Rutgers coaches, I love how they explained Quincy Douby to me. They said he wants to be great. Some kids are afraid of that. Wow. They're afraid of getting to that level. This kid is not. He wants to be a great player.
He thirsts for it, huh?
Yes. And I, again, do believe.
You started the game with that.
He's done nothing to make me change my thoughts.
I still think 2. That's my theory.
Yes.
Get the 2. Guard, if you want to give it up quickly, stretch this game out. At 3, put you on the bus.
Bill, it's a new career high for him, 30 points. New high water mark.
Now looking for 3s all the way now. This is where you get in trouble.
Stinson swishes it. Looking to see if they called a timeout. They did not at 38.6.
Well, they were trying to give it, they didn't get there.
New career high for Stinson. He's got 28 points.
And they should give this to Sullivan. That's my officiating. Yeah, good officiating. You know, if you got a choice and one guy's got some problems.
I've always felt that free throw shooting in a tight ball game the last couple of minutes, if you're with the ball and you get fouled, your first thought should be something along the lines of, you just fouled the wrong guy. I'm going to step up and make you pay.
You got to have that attitude.
Have to.
And I think he does. I mean, he's just so confident when he gets to the free throw line. Same rhythm. Do the same thing each time. Well, the coach blesses himself.
Misses it, so it's still a one-trip ball game. 75-72.
Go to the rim quick. He got fouled. Good play. Good play. You got 21 seconds, 20 and change. You make the two, you get your defense set, maybe get a 5-second violation or a quick denial and a slap back to your teammate.
More good options than bad options when you attack.
Stinson, 11 of 12 at the free throw line tonight. Converts the first one. 2-point game. Lamizana and Shields come back into the lineup for the Scarlet Knights. Axani is back into the lineup as well.
I would think he'll take it out. That's my guess. He's not a great free throw shooter, Axani.
Gets the second. 1-point game. 75-74. 20.8 seconds remaining.
And they almost get it.
You're exactly right, Billy. Had to call the timeout.
When it goes against you, you think the guy counts in halves.
So I understand now we do have a final in that ball game between Minnesota and Duke. And there it is. Minnesota wins over Duke 82-75 in the Mid-East. So the 7th seed is heading for the Final Four.
Ryan, I know we're kind of guessing. I'm with you. I don't think a 7th seed has ever advanced to the Final Four on the women's side because it's been so dadgum #1 heavy seeded with the UConns and the Tennessees over the years. And when Lindsey Whalen got healthy late in the year for Minnesota, a lot of folks started talking about that ball club had a serious threat in them, and they certainly are.
How about the crowd last night up in Connecticut?
Oh,
it's unbelievable.
Terrific.
Gino's club once again, huh?
Yes.
Preseason, I think they believe they would be.
Tell you what, I salute this crowd here tonight. It's been a terrific atmosphere.
You've got to get guys now to screen well and cut well. It's very important. And you can run the baseline. It's a live situation. A lot of teams put, in my mind now, too many people down there, which congests the pot. The defenders can spoil things for you.
So the first of 2 semifinal contests tonight. The winner of this one gets either Oregon or Michigan at 7 o'clock Eastern on Thursday evening here at the Garden.
Raf, to follow your thought, I've always been a fan of putting your 2 best guards down here around the free throw lane, letting them screen for each other, screen and pop back to the ball. Your 2 bigs at the timeline. If they get hung up, then make it a foot race with your bigs. Now you get all 10 guys down here and a lot of traffic.
Too many people. Absolutely. And they've got everybody down here now. Unless you run people out. I can see that too. Like right away, sprint your wings and then run a cross screen at the foul line.
Now they're going to let Axani have a touch over here.
Well, they got a problem here.
They have a real problem.
Look at this.
Well, he lost it out of bounds.
What? Oh, okay. Well, we weren't there. I thought it went the other way. Stinson may have had a hand in there. This is one of the toughest angles to get the ball in.
And Axani's the guy they're leaving free, and he doesn't want it because he knows.
I don't think Gary wants him to have it either.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't bet against him. It's just numbers-wise, you prefer other people.
Well, he's going to have to touch it.
And he got rid of it right. Hot potato. They got numbers. They don't need it. Heady play. Good play. Make the deuce. Could have been problems for you. We've had a chance for a 3-point chance at the other end to tie. Here's that call on the sideline, Jim. Let's see. You can see the hand. His bad hand was in there, really helped. Good call by the officials. Jamie Lucky, I believe, was on top of that one. And very lucky for Rutgers, I might add.
Final timeout being taken by Iowa State. And as you saw the graphic just a moment ago, as we had mentioned earlier, 2 career highs in this ball game tonight for Douby and also for Curtis Stinson. And Stinson only had 3 points in the first half, so one heck of a comeback here in the second half of play. Billy, talk strategy with us.
Well, you think of this, depending on the situation on the free throw line, you come down, you get an opportunity with a 3. So it all depends on what happens on the next one. You know, obviously, if they don't make any, the deuce is what you're going to look for. And I would think, again, quickly and get it inside, or with the drive, and create and get right to it.
And I think both coaches, Ron, the last thing they tell their troops as they break huddle, rebound the basketball, because more times than not, with less than 15 seconds to go, that's the thing that's going to determine the outcome of the ball game.
So 11.8 seconds left in the ball game. It is Rutgers by 1. They're at the free throw line in the double bonus situation.
And 1 timeout left for Rutgers, which becomes important on inbounding the basketball in particular. But there's a lot of speed dribblers on Iowa State, too. So, I mean, the ability of bringing it up the floor, you don't need the timeout. Obviously, they don't have one, but the quick rush and then attack the glass.
How about the 2 huge performances on the world's biggest stage tonight, huh? Out of Stinson and Douby. Huge numbers.
Well, Shields prepares to go to the line, and the numbers on him tonight, 7 of 9 at the free throw line.
And all year long, solid at 76.
Gary backs everybody off.
Now this is the decision right now. How are you going to match, contain? You want the dribbler at least to go one different path. And I would say you got to guard for the 3 now.
Yep. Keep an eye on 0 in White, because he's the one that can burn you.
And this guy can too.
Sullivan got it! Wow. 0 in White. You better tag him.
Oh, they got a foul or a timeout? They got the last timeout.
Yeah, the final timeout.
I thought they might give the foul and not let them shoot the 3 in that particular play. I mean, I'm not a fan of it, but I thought that was one of the possibilities when you mentioned Stinson had the dribble. Well, you know what this deserves, Jimmy Dykes? The little guy raising a level. Nuggets deep in the corner.
Possibly oranges.
Anything you want at the grocery store for this. And Stinson with the look to give him the opportunity as well. Now 1.3, it's a catch and 1 bounce.
Yeah, at most.
Right?
Yes.
So and the ability of the cutters is extremely important. What angle they go at, what lane they create for the inbound passer. I would think a big will be on the ball, Jim. Don't let him have vision and see how the other people deploy. A back screen sometimes by a guard. You run somebody to the rim, you consider the lob, and then if not, the screener pops to the ball. That's one of the things you might be able to do.
And when you're not familiar, which Iowa State and Rutgers are not common opponents throughout the year, you can get burned late in a ball game because you don't have all the tapes to break down and know everything.
They're checking now to see where the time should be when the ball goes out of bounds. No, you're right. There's not that familiarity or consistency. I'm sure the most, maybe the end of the season, 5 or 6 tapes as you get into it. See if they get this number right. It's not out yet. About right, huh? Maybe another 10th at the most.
Not in the frame there, but you see where the whistle was probably blown.
Now, I think you've got to force the ball backwards defensively. Don't let them go forward. And they got the big guy coming in here.
Number 54, Skoglund.
Andrew Skoglund.
And he will take up vision of the passer on the inbounds man.
I don't want to have any discussion with him at 1,600 in the college boards, incidentally. He's got to be as big as he can, and don't let it come down the side. I don't think this is good the way he's playing it. He's letting it come down the sideline. That's dangerous.
Too big. Get up, big fella.
And here it comes.
Lamizana's a threat.
He walked. He walked. Now the counter.
Putting 54 in white in the ball game. Got him a turnover.
Move.
So he
That's an
comes
assist.
out, and Sullivan.
If he moves these feet.
That's a frozen spot.
Yep, there you go. No question about it.
You can establish a pivot foot just like you picked up your dribble, and that's it.
That's what coaches tell you to do. Lock in with the 1 foot.
Big fella did his job, didn't he?
He sure did. They're going to leave him in now, maybe for the possibility of getting to the rim or screening the big body.
No clock movement, so that's to be the key substitute for Sullivan.
Stinson's going to try and shake his guy somehow. And they're not as big on the ball. Jefferson's going to get some vision.
Get it up, get it up.
Oh, he hit the front of the iron.
Wow, right on it, too.
I'm telling you. So we're heading to overtime in his first semifinal game. And let's look at the shot that tied it up by the senior, Jake Sullivan.
Well, he runs the baseline great.
So we're back, and it's overtime in the first semifinal game. Now, a couple of situations to keep an eye on. Lamizana, 4 personal fouls for Rutgers. And for Iowa State, it is Vroman with 4. Jared Homan has 3. Stinson also with 4 personal fouls.
And I was just handed a stat here. Mike Green, the SID, they're 2-10, Iowa State, in their last 12 overtimes. So that's got to be over a couple of years. So
they're due.
That doesn't bode well, or they're due. Exactly. 1 timeout each way.
I wonder during the break between regulation and OT if Iowa State was looking around for their
knock on wood, huh?
Knock on wood here in front of me.
Well, right now, if they're going to prevail, I think they've got to start recognizing 51 Homan and number 4 Vroman.
Larry Rose with the ball in the air, and it's going to go to Rutgers.
I'm too tired to say, minute.
We got another one to go, big fella.
Yeah, no, I'm fine. I just love this. Are you kidding me?
Tough shot.
And look who's there with the perfect checkout. Never left his feet. Vroman.
Tough shot is usually a kind way of saying bad shot.
Yeah, exactly. Nice penetration. They lifted every. What a save by Axani. Go through Lamizana again. Now this is the matchup because you see Stinson on Lamizana. Look who's there.
Axani had it blocked.
He does a great job. He's a hard worker. Couldn't finish.
Vroman with the block, and boy, Stinson taking a chance with those 4 fouls.
Well, you know, that Homan occupied Lamizana as well, too. And he got a nice lane to the 10.
If Rutgers loses this ball game, they'll look back several times at poor transition defense.
They have not really recovered well.
You got to run with a purpose. You got to have your head on a swivel, stop basketball. Things they haven't done.
Webb should have kept his dribble alive. He could have gone right to the rim.
Douby.
Nice job. Nice job using the dribble. Very creative.
Boy, isn't he smooth?
He
with
is.
his left hand.
You know, every once in a while, he might take a long jack, but slowly he's getting away from it, I think. He's playing within himself. Nice.
Sullivan got the screen out high from Stinson. Now he's going to come back, shoot it again. Couldn't get it to go.
Coming down the stretch, disdain the J, I think. Get it inside or use the bounce.
But particularly with Lamizana with 4 fouls.
Sure. Nice dish. Once again here, Douby penetrates Stinson, gets a piece.
That's 5 on Stinson.
He has blown by people 94 feet all evening long. Again, that's a lack of transition defense out of Rutgers.
And this end, I did think Douby, nice hesitation, gets a little brush screen, and now the little floater. We talked about the teardrop. On the other side with Stinson, he possesses one as well. And that's it. If I'm not mistaken. Yep, Stinson with 5.
Career high, 32 points for him. Only had 3 at halftime. 29 in the second half for the total of 32.
Blalock's going to have to play solid. And, you know, in a way, I'm not saying it's a blessing because you want your best performer. Now they might think of the building blocks a little more, you know?
I agree.
Iowa State.
So what Douby understands as a young kid, even when he's moving in his shot to his, like that time to his left, he still keeps those shoulders square to that rim.
You know what I wouldn't do if I were? He's been on that line a long time.
Yes, you freeze yourself there if you're not careful.
So much for that. Nothing but court.
Tonight, that rim has looked like a bushel basket to him.
I think the last month it has.
Yeah. Talking to Ernie Kent off camera at halftime, he said, "You trying to tell me this NIT doesn't mean something to kids?" Watching the effort in this one.
Well, you know, it keeps the balls out of the closet. You prove something to yourselves, to your school, and it gets you ready for next year. And again, the bumps for Sullivan. A pretty good reaction defensively.
Well, there's where you want it if you're an Iowa State fan right now.
Nice step through. Didn't come up with a good shot, but heck of an offensive maneuver.
Sullivan, the runner, not there.
That's automatic. He gets to the free throw line, generally speaking. Now, very clever. Jimmy mentioned it earlier. He has a nice understanding of how to get people airborne and then do something creative.
I mean, he really sells that pump fake. I mean, you buy in defensively that he's going to knock that shot down with the ball movement, the head movement, and I like how his eyes lock in on the rim when he's trying to sell that ball fake. He understands it.
Whoa. He begged that one home. Here's that ability. Just your eyes rise, and Axani gets caught on the tough side, even if you're that size.
Jake Sullivan in December, his high school, retired his jersey out of Oakdale, Minnesota, Tartan High School. So we're tied again at 81.
They are running much better stuff this half and overtime. Use the bounce. Good luck. Just don't have much second opportunities, do they?
You know, good look and really pretty good defense that time by Vroman. Kept his eyes locked in on Lamizana's midsection, challenged his shot, moved his feet pretty well.
Hey guys, that's 20 rebounds for Vroman.
Set play on the dribble handoff. You know, he's leaning backwards where they had numbers if they went the other way.
Yep.
Nice play by Lamizana. Great effort.
Axani has got 17 rebounds.
See how they spread? It really opens up the middle, too. Pretty look. Pretty look. Penetrate. Find the extra look. And then power to the tin, Axani.
Well, he's got 8 points to go with his 17 rebounds. What a ball game. Lost the handle. They're lucky that they held on to it. Wow. And Homan.
They are letting them play on right now. That was Lamizana did a great job, I think, didn't you?
Yeah.
Established terrific position away from the rim.
Shields picks up his 4th foul. Ron Franklin, along with Jimmy Dykes and the governor, Bill Raftery, coming to you from Madison Square Garden. Our first semifinal game. And Vroman is down. Is that a cramp?
I think so.
He pointed to his calf like it's a cramp.
He's been out there an awfully long time and providing energy on both ends of the floor. 18 minutes in the first half. I don't remember him going out this half, do you?
No, he's been out there for the duration, I believe.
At 38 minutes he has played already. And right here, this is just, I think, pretty good defense. And normally you'll get that call.
He comes down right there. That's when the Cavs tighten up on him. And you got to kick one or the other. But
And they're going to take him out simply because they don't want to get that charge time out. With only one remaining for each team. That's the only rest he's gotten all game.
I tell you, another real warrior in this ball game. We talked about him as Axani with all his rebounds. That guy's
17.
Yeah.
Vroman's got 20.
A lot of positive intangibles out of a kid like Axani there on the left. Plus, he's a double major in economics and exercise science. He reads the Wall Street Journal every day, so you know he's happy here right now.
So maybe you get some investment counseling.
I need it.
15 lead changes, 11 ties. And because of the injury to Vroman, Neal is going to come in and shoot the free throw.
And you know what's interesting, too? You know, when you have a guy like Axani, it's a great example for kids. You don't have to be a star to help a team or be a factor.
Certainly.
Just do your job. 67% from the free throw line. And Rudy gets an opportunity.
A lot of times a guy like Axani, his role is described as does the dirty work. I think it's the necessary work is what it is if you're going to win ball games.
Absolutely. He got 6 points in 6 minutes when they were down to Iowa.
Became a folk hero in Ames because of that one effort.
Missed them both. And they keep it. No, go the other way. That's a tough position to be put in.
2-point lead, Rutgers with the basketball.
And Neal just to make up for it and guard his guy and be solid. That's how you do it.
The Rutgers, you don't expect a whistle to be blown here. You are strong with that basketball. Value it dearly.
And run some clock, too. Open middle, dangerous. And a bump. He just sort of owns the playground right now, doesn't he? Whatever he wants to do. Smooth, under control, get a feel of the guy behind you, take the hit, almost with a chance for 3.
That perimeter game for Rutgers, tough to match up with so far in this tournament. Came in averaging 20 apiece, and Quincy's done his job again tonight. Both of them have, really.
Boy, that ball's coming down wet, Jimmy.
Yeah, it's barely touching net.
Pretty high.
Vroman is going to check back into the lineup. He is hobbling, but he's not going to miss the final 33.9 seconds. We'll be right back.
Friends and enemies, 20.
Don't look at the game summary. Rutgers up by 3. You see the shooting percentages. Free throws, 82%, Rutgers 73% for the Cyclones. And if you're wondering about other records, Douby at 35. The NIT record is George Mikan, 1945, 53 points.
Did you work the game?
I think that's
I know you enjoyed it.
Douby has the record, though, as far as games in Madison Square Garden. But you know what? It could be broken in our next game by a guy named Luke Jackson. He's capable of going for 40+.
By the way, that's when they had a keyhole. I don't know if you guys look at this one. Wow. He does it once in a while.
Almost didn't draw iron.
Go for the quick deuce.
3-point game. We're just under 30 seconds to play. And first overtime.
We got Vroman. Use him. Still got time.
Yeah, extend the length of the game. That's all Iowa State's trying to do right now.
When Vroman screened, I thought they could have dumped it down to him. Webb on Sullivan. Got to stay at home. That's the play they love to. Oh, that's too deep. That's that NBA line that confuses them. The giveaway jump ball. Should be a jump ball.
It'll stay with Iowa State. Bill, that is a great point, what you just said. They thought that they were at the 3-point line, and they've been pushed out to the NBA 3.
And, you know, it's also the fellow that dribble handoff. He sometimes is confused, hands it to the shooter.
That's too high.
Now, Jimmy, I think they got to go 3 right now.
They do now.
Now, this is the question we asked before. Do you give the foul and not let them knock you down? I mean, I'm not in favor. A lot of guys are. I don't know how you feel.
No, I think you go straight up, and at worst, you head into another overtime.
Depends when, too. Maybe if it gets down real late, you might try it.
Sullivan on this weak side block.
Stinson didn't want to look.
Yeah. Get a screen. There he is again to the corner.
Got to get it in.
He's got to dribble into a shot now.
Under 5 seconds. Tried to draw the foul, couldn't get it, rebounded. Rutgers and the Scarlet Knights will advance to the championship game with an 84-81 overtime victory over Iowa State. Once again, final score 84-81. Game night update is next. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Now let's send it to Dave Repson.
Okay, Ron, thank you very much. So very exciting first game there at Madison Square Garden. I'm here with Fran Fraschilla. We'll get you back out to the Garden in a few minutes. 20 minutes between games here, so it'll be Michigan and Oregon going at it next. And I'll tell you what, an exciting one there and boding very well for Rutgers fans going forward here the next few years with what Quincy Douby did.
Well, we saw two great freshmen, Curtis Stinson for Iowa State, but Gary Waters is building a Rutgers program. He's going to have to do it around New York and New Jersey kids. Quincy Douby is the first New York kid that he signed. Tonight, a career-high 35. He's a brilliant shooter. Comes out of the great high school program, Grady High School in Brooklyn, and this is a good omen day for Rutgers basketball. Seton Hall has gotten it done with local kids. St. John's has to get it done with local kids, but it's a good sign for Gary Waters. Quincy Douby's a nice guy to build around.
Yeah, first 20-win season for them since the 82-83 season, and they are still going. Gary Waters standing by right now with our Jimmy Dykes. Jimmy?
Gary, how big a step is this for a guy that's trying to build a program at Rutgers?
Tremendous step. I mean, we've been taking baby steps. Now it's a big step.
How about this crowd that came 45 minutes away today to support you?
Yeah, I tell you, they're unbelievable there. They're unbelievable. Unbelievable. And that's where they are every day at the rack. Every time we play at the rack, they're there for us.
The play of Quincy Douby tonight, outstanding game offensively. In those timeouts, was it designed to keep the ball in his hands?
Yes, and so he can create either shoot or pass because he can do both things.
All right, Coach, I'll let you go to your team. I want to talk to Quincy for a minute. Quincy, in front of a crowd tonight, although it's an away game, I know you just felt confidence all evening long. Talk about in the flow of the offense tonight when you realized they can't guard me. Where did that happen for you?
I don't know. They was playing zone. I had a couple of games this year. I had bad games against the zone. I was just setting up a long-range shot. But I stayed in the gym long hours and just prepared real well for this game. And I was really prepared, and it showed today.
How much of the changing defense of Iowa State got you guys out of rhythm in this ball game?
Coach did a real good job at changing defense, but our coach, he told us like what defense they was running, and he was setting up different plays, and we were just executing it in important situations.
Now there's another guy on the other side tonight from the same city, Curtis Stinson. Talk about his effort a little bit.
Curtis Stinson, he's an awesome player. I played against him in prep school. He's a tough kid. He's a New York kid, and he showed it today. We just was battling. We was going hard at it. And he's just a great kid. He's a good player.
All right, but I'll let you go before I do. I can tell you this, after watching you for 45 minutes, I do believe.
All right, thank you.
Back to the studio.